Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, May 5th, 2020. Today I'm going to talk about the latest news related to the coronavirus in the world of sports, some rewatches that have been on TV over the last couple of days and that will air today and tomorrow, an error on my NFL trade value list that I want to touch on, my MLB trade value list, and my 2017 top 10 MLB players and games. Okay. First, we'll talk about the latest coronavirus stuff. The Dolphins set out a plan online to have fans at their games and have them socially distanced if necessary. It was pretty neat. You could just search it on Twitter or on the internet. I just wanted to bring that up because maybe other teams can use that as a blueprint going forward to when they want to have fans back in the seats in their respective states of where each team is located. NBA, there's a rumor that the 2020-2021 season will start on Christmas Day. That is something that has been mentioned a ton on this podcast, and other people in the media have been speculating that as well. That is a great idea, and I think they should do that going forward. And same with hockey, as their league calendar could change in result of the coronavirus pandemic. So I just want to mention that. And then the latest coming from Major League Baseball, Jon Heyman is reporting that the alleged July 1st start date for an MLB season would be wonderful. They'd love to begin then or close. But while there's hope, things aren't as certain as that. MLB is still hearing conflicting information from politicians and doctors, and health concerns remain the priority. So who knows? I think that we still will have a season, but maybe it is later than July 1st than what has been speculated. And then Heyman follows it up. MLB executives have not apprised the union of any particular proposed starting date to start a season at this point, and the sense is July 1st could be on the optimistic side. It isn't ruled out, but it isn't close to a likelihood, not yet anyway. So it looks like it's going to be mid-July rather than early July. But Jon Heyman's a good reporter, but he's no Passan or Rosenthal. But he might be right about this. So the first sport that might start might be the NHL, because there's all the talk about having quarantine begin at the end of May and then starting up in mid-late June and having the draft in early June, and not do, or maybe do a lottery, but do it like with the teams that are not in the postseason, obviously, or maybe the top 10 or the bottom 10 teams in the standings. So any coronavirus related news, obviously I will talk about it on the show. Now I want to talk about some of the rewatches in sports over the past couple days. Last night, ESPN re-aired the Fail Mary game between the Packers and the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. As Mike Tirico sat on the call, the Seahawks win in the most bizarre finish you'll ever see. It was the most bizarre finish you'd ever see, as the Packers should have been rewarded with the game in the interception, and Golden Tate should have been called for offensive pass interference. But nope, they reward the Seahawks, hand them a win, which didn't necessarily impact them in the standings because they would have been the 5 seed anyway. They were 11-5 that season, should have been 10-6, but the 10-6 Minnesota Vikings were the second wild card, and Seattle beat the Vikings in the regular season that year. So Seattle, it didn't really affect, but it did affect the Green Bay Packers. It cost them home field advantage in the postseason. That play single-handedly cost them arguably a chip to the Super Bowl. Now looking back, I'm not saying that they would have made the Super Bowl instead of the 49ers, but it certainly cost them home field advantage. San Francisco probably would have beaten Green Bay in the NFC title game because San Francisco is just a better team, but Green Bay probably would have had home field advantage in the playoffs that year. So they should have been 12-4 instead of 11-5. That is why they were the 3 seed instead of the 1 seed, and they had a tiebreaker with the Niners, and that's why they were the 3 seed. And had they been 12-4, they would have had home field advantage in the playoffs. San Francisco would have been the 2 seed, and Atlanta would have been the 3 seed. So that playoffs would have looked dramatically different. So the Packers have every right to feel like they were snubbed there, because it came back to haunt them that season, and they lost in the division round to the San Francisco 49ers. 2011 and 2006 NBA Finals Games 3 and 2 respectively, 06 Game 3 and 2011 Game 2. The theme of those series is don't count us out. Obviously, the Mavs were up 2-0 in 06. Miami won Game 3, won the series. LeBron and the Heat won Game 1 in 2011, and then Dirk led the Mavs back to tie up the series at 2. And a couple of Albert Pujols memorabilia games. 2005 NLCS Game 5. Cardinals lost that series, but Albert Pujols was just a monster. And obviously the Astros were the team that beat him. The Astros were in the National League back then. And in 2011 World Series, Game 3, the Rangers and the Cardinals. That was a 1-1 series at the time. And Albert Pujols put the Cardinals on his back and had a 3-home run game in the World Series in 2011 in game number 3. Now I want to talk about an error I made on my NFL trade value list. I tend to do this every time I do a trade value list in any sport. The player I left off the list was DeAndre Hopkins, and he's somebody that I feel deserves to be on the list. I put him at the number 11 spot, so just outside the top 10. The top 10 remains the same of Michael Thomas, Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, Nick and Joey Bosa, Quentin Nelson, Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes. But DeAndre Hopkins slid to 11, and the rest of the list, 12 Christian McCaffrey, 13 Russell Wilson, 14 Laramie Tunsil, 15 Zach Martin, 16 Ryan Ramczyk, 17 Myles Garrett, 18 George Kittle, 19 Travis Kelce, 20 Minkah Fitzpatrick, 21 Jamal Adams, 22 Derrick Henry, 23 Saquon Barkley, 24 Alvin Kamara, 25 Dalvin Cook, 26 Nick Chubb, 27 Ezekiel Elliott, 28 Amari Cooper, 29 Tyreek Hill, 30 Mike Evans, 31 Adam Thielen, 32 Stephon Diggs, 33 Devontae Adams, 34 Odell Beckham, 35 Keenan Allen, 36 Chris Godwin, 37 Cooper Kupp, 38 Julio Jones, 39 Baker, 40 Kyler, 41 Josh Allen, 42 Daniel Jones, 43 Sam Darnold, 44 Drew Lock, 45 Dwayne Haskins, 46 Juju Smith-Schuster, 47 Cortland Sutton, 48 Kenny Golladay, 49 A.J. Brown, 50 Calvin Ridley, 51 Christian Kirk, 52 Marquise Brown, 53 Deebo Samuel, 54 Michael Gallup, 55 Terry McLaurin, 56 Darius Slayton, 57 Derwin James, 58 Marshawn Lattimore, 59 Trey White, 60 Jair Alexander, 61 Shaq Griffin, 62 Adoree Jackson, 63 Jalen Ramsey, 64 Darius Slay, 65 Eddie Jackson, 66 Marcus Williams, 67 Stephon Gilmore, 68 Bobby Wagner, 69 Harrison Smith, 70 Jalen Smith, 71 TJ Watt, 72 Bradley Chubb, 73 Josh Allen of the Jaguars, 74 Shaq Barrett, 75 Darius Leonard, 76 Leighton Vander Esch, 77 Devin Bush, 78 Devin White, 79 Bud Dupree, 80 Ed Oliver, 81 Dexter Lawrence, 82 Max Crosby, 83 Quinnen Williams, 84 Austin Eckler, 85 Josh Jacobs, 86 Aaron Jones, 87 Phillip Lindsay, 88 James Conner, 89 Miles Sanders, 90 Devin Singletary, 91 Ronald Jones, 92 David Montgomery, 93 Brandon Scherf, 94 Carson Wentz, 95 Gronk, 96 Joe Thuney, 97 Taysom Hill, 98 Byron Jones, 99 Trey Turner, and 100 Yannick Ngakoue. Jarvis Landry moves into the honorable mentions. All right, and now without further ado, I am going to do my MLB trade value list. Goes from 100 to 1. I have a lot of honorable mentions that I'm going to get to. So a couple closers in Liam Hendricks, Brad Hannon, Aroldis Chapman. recovering from Tommy John surgery, starting pitchers Chris Sale, Luis Severino, and Noah Syndergaard. Some overpaid pitchers in Kenta Maeda, Heijin Ryu, Zach Greinke, Lance Lynn, Mike Minor, Zach Wheeler, John Lester, Yu Darvish, Madison Bumgarner, Patrick Corbin, and David Price. Some of them are just overpaid, and some of them I feel just A, aren't worth their contract, or B, kind of overrated by the media and some fans. Some veteran players, Andrelton Simmons, Nick Castellanos, Mike Moustakas, JD Martinez, DJ LeMahieu, Charlie Blackmon, Josh Donaldson, Manny Machado, Bryce Harper. Some wild card players or pitchers that either A, haven't lived up to expectations, or B, been injured a lot. Michael Fulmer, John Gray, John Means, Kyle Freeland, Christian Walker, Hunter Renfroe, Miguel Sano, Byron Buxton, Kyle Schwarber, Salvador Perez, Mitch Haniger, Corey Kluber. Some starting pitchers. Oh, and Marcus Stroman's a part of that wild card group too of honorable mentions. This next group is young players that could be on the list in a year or so from now. Mitch Keller, Alex Reyes, Michael Kopech, Brendan McKay, Brendan Rodgers, AJ Puke, Sandy Alcantara, Zach Gallen, Luke Weaver, Jeimer Candelario, Luis Arias, Christian Stewart, and J.P. Crawford. And now, without further ado, my top 100 trade value list. First group of guys is a lot of young players that I believe in, that still have potential, and some of them that had great years last year, but I'm not so sure if they're this good. 100 Willie Calhoun of the Rangers, 99 Francisco Mejia of the Padres, 98 Carson Kelly of the Diamondbacks, 97 Jorge Alfaro of the Marlins, 96 Nick Senzel of the Reds, 95 Kevin Newman, Pirates, 94 Will Smith, Dodgers, 93 Nate Lau, Rays, 92 Mike Yastrzemski, Giants, 91 Nico Horner, Cubs, 90 Artetis Aquino, Reds. So these guys are all guys that either had great years last year or guys that I still believe in and have some potential. Next couple guys are guys that really I think could make a jump this season, assuming we have a season. 89 Alex Verdugo, 88 Bo Bichette, 87 Victor Robles, 86 Gavin Lux. Next group of guys are guys that showed flashes of potential. 85 Hunter Dozier, 84 Yandy Diaz, 83 Ramon Laureano. Next group is a group of veteran starting pitchers that are still in their primes or at the tail end of their primes. 82 Charlie Morton, 81 Justin Verlander, 80 Steven Strasburg, 79 Clayton Kershaw, 78 Max Scherzer. Next two are catchers with very high potential but have some flaws. Wilson Contreras and Gary Sanchez, they're 77 and 76 respectively. Next group of players are groups of guys that for whatever reason are coming off injuries, or whether just inconsistent, either not living up to expectations or bit of wild card. So it's technically a second wild card group. 75 Jose Ramirez, 74 Corey Seager, 73 Ozzie Albies, 72 Eddie Rosario, 71 Tommy Pham. Oh, and then career years, coming off career years, are a part of that group too, obviously pointing at Eddie Rosario there. Next group of players are some young players and some players that I still believe in have a little bit more potential than some guys that I already listed. 70 Brandon Lau, 69 Keston Hiura, 68 Tim Anderson, 67 Jorge Polanco, 66 Dan Vogelbach, 65 Franmil Reyes, 64 Michael Conforto, 63 Rhys Hoskins. Next group is guys that are either coming off of breakout years or guys that I think the arrow's pointing up. 62 Marcus Semien, 61 Paul DeJong, 60 Whit Merrifield, 59 Rafael Devers, 58 Yoan Moncada, 57 Matt Olson, 56 JT Realmuto, 55 Max Kepler, 54, Jorge Soler. 53, Max Muncy. Next group of guys is the they shown flashes of greatness, but it aren't quite there yet. Or we saw greatness and we don't know where the arrow's really trending. So it's kind of more like higher ceiling wild card guys. Like 5 players. 52, Carlos Correa. 51, Joey Gallo. 50, Josh Bell. 49, Ketel Marte. 48, Trey Turner. Next group is a group of starting pitchers that are either entering their prime. Some of them are in contract years, and others are coming into their own. 47, Robbie Ray. 46, Sonny Gray. 45, James Paxton. 44, Aaron Nola. 43, Trevor Bauer. 42, Tyler Glasnow. 41, Matt Boyd. 40, Jose Barrios. 39, Blake Snell. 38, Lucas Giolito. 37, Mike Clevenger. Next group of guys are star position players in the league that are either in their primes or closer to being past their primes. 36, George Springer. 35, Anthony Rizzo. 34, Freddie Freeman. 33, Paul Goldschmidt. 32, Jose Altuve. 31, Trevor Story. 30, Eugenio Suarez. 29, Xander Bogaerts. 28, Chris Bryant. 27, Aaron Judge. Next group is young starting pitchers who are entering their primes. 26, Mike Soroka. 25, Jack Flaherty. 24, Luis Castillo. 23, Shane Bieber. 22, Chris Paddock. Next group of guys are young, budding star position players. 21, Eloy Jimenez. 20, Vlad Guerrero Jr. 19, Yordan Alvarez. 18, Fernando Tatis Jr. 17, Pete Alonso. Next group is 4 position players that are on the verge of superstardom, if they're not already. 16, Javier Baez. 15, Gleyber Torres. 14, Matt Chapman. 13, Anthony Rendon. Number 12 on this list is Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole and Anthony Rendon were supposed to be the duo of the just paid superstars, and then the up-and-coming ones, I should have said, are the threesome of Chapman, Torres, and Baez. And then the next group is the top 11. I don't really want to call this group the untradables because one of these 11 players were just traded in the winter. You'll see who it is in a couple of seconds. But these should be the 11 most untradeable players in all of Major League Baseball. 11, Ronald Acuna Jr., 10, Alex Bregman, 9, Nolan Arenado, 8, Juan Soto, 7, Mookie Betts, 6, Francisco Lindor, 5, Jacob deGrom, 4, Walker Buehler, 3, Christian Yelich, 2, Cody Bellinger, and 1, Mike Trout. Some will ask me, why is Mookie Betts only 7th? That's because he's going to be a free agent at the end of the 2020 season, and Lindor's going to be a free agent after the 2021 season. Some of that matters, and Trout and Yelich were just paid, and Bellinger is still on his rookie contract. So that's why the top 3 is the top 3. Obviously, Mike Trout's the best player in the world, and he's the most untouchable player in the world, obviously. I want to put a lot of prospects on this list, too, in terms of honorable mentions, but I've had enough honorable mentions, so that's why I did not put honorable mentions in terms of prospects who have not played a second in the big leagues. Now I'm going to do my 2017 top 10 MLB players. I have a couple honorable mentions here. Jose Ramirez, Nolan Arenado, Joey Votto, Anthony Rendon, Chris Bryant, Cody Bellinger, Mookie Betts, Justin Turner, Charlie Blackmon. And now here are my top 10 MLB players of the calendar year 2017. 10th place, Francisco Lindor helped lead the Indians to the best record in the American League, courtesy of that 22-game winning streak. I felt that he was the best player on the team. A lot of people say Jose Ramirez, but I strongly feel that it was Francisco Lindor, and he's currently the best player on the Indians right now. 9, Paul Goldschmidt. He was on the Diamondbacks at the time, helped lead the Diamondbacks to the NLDS, although they got swept by the Dodgers. 8th, Jose Altuve, Houston Astros. Would have been higher had they not cheated, obviously. But he won the AL MVP in 2017, although at the time I felt he shouldn't have. And now, with the cheating thing, it is confirmed that he shouldn't have. And obviously the Astros won the World Series, so I had to give some credit, I guess. 7, Mike Trout, Los Angeles Angels. He was injured a lot in 2017, but he's obviously the best player in the world, so he obviously has to have a spot on the list. 6, Giancarlo Stanton was on the Miami Marlins at the time. It was before they traded him in that big contract to the Yankees. That was his last great year, and I think that is going to be the last great year you'll ever see from Giancarlo Stanton, because he's been very injury-prone lately. He could still have a 30-homer season, but he's never going to get the 56 again. That was a one-year aberration going up against bad NL East pitching with the Mets. Well, not really the Mets, but more the Mets bullpen than their starters. The Phillies, obviously, the Braves pitching was not good at the time. And then that bad Nats bullpen. So going up against weak pitching in the division really, I think, skewed his numbers a little bit, especially his home run total. And being on a bad Marlins team is why he was only number 6, and plus he did win the NL MVP, so that's why he had to be at least on the list. 5, Corey Kluber, Cleveland Indians, won the AL Cy Young Award and helped lead the Indians to the LDS, although he failed in that series against the Yankees. He sucked in Game 2. Although they won that game. They won that game because Joe Girardi screwed up. We all know that. And Game 5, the decisive game, he pitched and gave up a couple homers to Didi Gregorius, and they lost that game. But he was still the AL Cy Young Award winner, so I at least had to put him on the list. 4, Clayton Kershaw, Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers were robbed in 2017. We all know that. And that's because their opponent who beat them cheated. So the cheating Astros skewed Clayton Kershaw's postseason that year, especially in the World Series. But he still had an awesome season that year. 3, Justin Verlander, Houston Astros, was traded from the Tigers to the Astros, and we know the cheating was on the hitting side, not the pitching side, and if it wasn't for him, the Astros don't win that World Series. 2, Max Scherzer, Washington Nationals, who's the best pitcher in baseball that year, won the NL Cy Young, just flat out dominant. And number 1, Aaron Judge, New York Yankees, had led the American League in home runs. I don't think you'll have a year from Aaron Judge as good as that one ever again, because obviously he's become very injury prone now, and you can make a case he's not even the best position player on the Yankees. I think Gleyber Torres has supplanted him, or is on the verge of at least. He was ahead of Judge on my trade value list because I feel that Torres has more trade value than Aaron Judge. So, yeah. So Aaron Judge was my top player in 2017. Should have won the AL MVP, ran away with the Rookie of the Year, and had not been for that team that cheated in the Houston Astros, maybe Aaron Judge has a ring. But you could argue that maybe Clayton Kershaw should have a ring. So the Yankees versus Dodgers 2017, who would have won had the Astros not cheated debate, will really be a debate going on for years. And now I want to do my 2017 top 10 MLB games of that year. I have a couple honorable mentions. Cubs-Dodgers Game 2, the NLCS. That was a 3-run walk-off shot by Justin Turner to help the Dodgers go up 2-0. Giants-Rockies, that was just a fun game. And the walk-off cycle happened in that game for Charlie Blackmon. Yankees-Astros Game 2, ALCS. Was a walk-off win for the Astros. I believe Carlos Correa hit the game-winning single in that game. Royals-Indians on September 14th. That was when the Indians won their 22nd straight game. Came from behind to beat the Royals. The Dodgers-Pirates, 8/23, August 23rd. Rich Hill almost throws a perfect game, but the Pirates win 1-0. And Cubs-Brewers on September 21st, extra inning game. Cubs came through in the top of the 10th to help them win the NL Central for the second consecutive year. And now my top 10 games of 2017 for Major League Baseball. 10th place, Indians-Red Sox on August 1st. That was the game. Red Sox won 12-10, high-scoring affair, but this game makes the list because Austin Jackson made an incredible catch in right field at Fenway Park to rob a home run. 9th place, Yankees-Cubs on Cinco de Mayo. On this day 3 years ago, Brett Gardner, down to the final strike, hits a go-ahead 3-run home run off of Wade Davis to give the Yankees the lead in that game as the Yankees went on to sweep the Chicago Cubs, and that was their we're for real moment of that season, in my opinion. 8th, Red Sox-Yankees, August 13th, Sunday Night Baseball. That was the game where Rafael Devers hit the home run off of Aroldis Chapman in the 9th inning to tie the game for the Sox, and then the Sox wound up taking the lead and winning that game in extra innings, helping the Sox win the American League East. 7th place, Yankees-Cubs, May 7th, Sunday Night Baseball. That was like an 18-inning game, and I remember Aroldis Chapman blew the save in the 9th inning, and then that game just kept going on and on and on. I think Mike Montgomery pitched in that game for the Cubs to help keep them in check, and then the Yankees went with their deep bullpen. I believe Adam Warren saw time in that game for the Cubs. He was a member of the Cubs then before, or no, was he? He was a Yankee, never mind. He was on the Yankees and was pitching innings for them. And I think he closed out the game for the Yankees, if I'm not mistaken. But that made the Yankees sweep the Cubs. You could argue the Cubs should have won 2 out of 3 in that series. But no, the Yankees came through on that Friday afternoon game and that Sunday night game from Wrigley Field. 6th place, Yankees-Indians, Game 2 of the ALDS, the Joe Girardi non-challenge of the hit by pitch, leading to the Indians' comeback to win Game 2. And that turned out to be their last great moment of that season as they blew that series to the Yankees. And number 5 is Indians-Yankees Game 3, October 8th of Game 3 of the ALDS. Greg Bird hit the home run off Andrew Miller, and the Yankees won that game 1-0 to stave off elimination. 4th place, Cubs-Nationals Game 5 of the NLDS on October 12th. That was an absolute wild game. A 12-11 Cubs final, or was it 9-8? It was some very high-scoring affair. Max Scherzer came out of the bullpen in that game. The Cubs held on to win and move on to face the Dodgers. 3rd place, Astros-Yankees, Game 4, 2017 ALCS, October 17th. Astros are up 4-0. Aaron Judge hits a home run. As many people thought, probably a garbage time home run, make it 4-1. But nope. Yankees come back and win 6-4. Go-ahead hit by Gary Sanchez in the 8th inning. Aroldis Chapman closes it out in the 9th. The Yankees tie that series at 2 apiece. Number 2 on the list, Astros-Dodgers, Game 2 of the World Series, October 25th. This was a great game that went into extra innings as the Astros won. And number 1, Dodgers-Astros, Game 5 of the World Series, October 29th. That was that high-scoring affair game and the game that really hurt Clayton Kershaw. And you could always argue the cheating Astros. They ruined Kershaw and his reputation in the postseason. That was really the game, because Kershaw was pitching well in that game, and then magically the Astros came back. So that's a what-if series in Major League Baseball history for sure. All right, that's it for the show today. I tried to make it short on purpose because I have a lot to do today. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon talking about the latest news with the coronavirus. my first MLB mock draft, maybe. I'll do my predictions for the NFL schedule on tomorrow's show. Although the schedule's coming out Thursday, I'm going to do the predictions on tomorrow's show because a lot of stuff is going to get leaked on Thursday. So I'm going to do it on tomorrow's show. The predictions on like what games are going to be on Sunday Night Football, what games are going to be Thursday night, what's opening night, who's on Thanksgiving, and all that fun stuff. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.